I love the question about what's the purpose of Jewish life, because it gets us right to the big questions. And all too often, I think, in Jewish life, we get bogged down in the small questions, the how of Jewish life, as opposed to the why. I believe that there are two primary purposes of Jewish life. Tzedek, which means justice, and Kedusha, which means holiness. And each one has a starting point in the Torah. Tzedek, justice, begins with one of Abraham's first encounters with God. When God encounters Abraham in Genesis chapter 18, he says, the purpose of Jewish life is lasot tzedakah u'mishpat. Briefly defined, it means to do righteousness and justice. But more liberally defined, it means to extend the boundaries of righteousness and justice in the world. In fact, so important is that mandate that later Rav Joseph Soloveitchik, one of the great luminaries of Orthodox Jewry in the 20th century, said that the Jewish people have two covenants, that one that happened at Sinai and one that happened with the patriarchs, Brit Avot. And Rav Soloveitchik says that the Brit Avot was the more important of the two covenants. The mitzvot at Sinai is the means to an end. The purpose, the end, is lasot tzedakah mishpat, to bring about righteousness and justice in the world. And the second purpose of Jewish life is about Kedusha. Kedusha means to be sacred and apart. And it's a word that is hard for secular American Jews to understand. But if you probe it in the Torah, you see that the Jewish people are meant to be sacred and apart. What's so ironic about the concept is that justice requires full engagement in the world, because we live in a broken world. Kedusha requires us to hold apart and say, what is unique about our way of life, about the way we approach the brokenness of the world? And what we've come to realize is that the Jewish people, the Torah, Jewish values, has a recipe, has a understanding about how we address the pain of the world, not just our own, though that to be sure, but also the pain of the world at large.